And he joins us this morning on the Harbor One hotline. Bradford, hello.
McFarland, come on, Wiggy, say it.
You know how it is. They did my boiler.
Bradford, we discussed this Saturday night over a beautiful charcuterie display, but for the benefit of others, you are surprised by the performance of this baseball team so far in spring training.
Sure, yes. And by the way, it was great seeing you, Greg. Introducing you to my wife. It was one of the highlights. The other highlight was Ken Laird walking the Twin Peaks and the entire wait staff yelling McFarland at him. That was awesome.
I gotta tell you, Twin Peaks sometimes gets a bad name. Mm-hmm. Pretty good food over there,
but it's like a Hooters,
it's
right? It's a Hooters for Florida.
I mean, I don't pay attention to that kind of thing. I'm there for the food.
Yeah, you're there looking at the menu, nothing else.
It's pretty. I took Brees Hill there for the first time on the way to the airport on Sunday. He really enjoyed it, so it's pretty. I mean,
I'm sure he did.
It's pretty good food. It's not. Is
it a high elevation? Why do they call it that?
It's a great game of baseball. There's no better place to watch it, and some of the best podcasts ever have been done there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they're part of the family. A weird family, but part of the family. Yes.
I told them one issue. I told them I wanted a salad, and they said you had to order that off menu. It's not really. It's not a super healthy place.
Your fried pickles looked pretty good on Instagram.
I think I like the wardrobes better at Twin Peaks than I do at Hooters now.
Really?
I had no ideas what the wardrobe was there.
I was wondering where Wiggy went.
No, I had no ideas, but I like the little flannel tops.
I tell you what. It was weird. Ken Laird, when he walked in there, it was like he was royalty. I don't understand it.
He was like John Morant.
He was.
All right. Anyway, back to this
the great game
team.
of baseball. Yeah. So I think that it's gone as well as they can have hoped. And here's the thing: is that we were trying to figure out who was going to step up, who was going to be a leader, what's this clubhouse going to look like, so forth and so on. And I think that a big development for this last week was the whole Justin Turner thing. Because Justin Turner comes in and you can say that he's going to be a leader, that he did it with the Dodgers and so forth and so on. But when you have a guy getting plunked in the face with a fastball in the cheek and then basically doing baseball activities like less than a week later with a mangled face and 16 stitches, I mean, that's talk about leading by example. That goes a long way with any team.
Yeah, I mean, I think the concern going into it is that you're relying on Chaim Bloom, and you let Bogarts go. You were able to get a deal done with Devers, which is great. But who else can you look at from a leadership perspective, and maybe you have that in that particular guy. So and Chris Sale. I mean, I think you said it. I think last week, or maybe it was prior to that with us. But really, I mean, this whole season kind of hinges on what you can get from Chris Sale, doesn't it?
Well, that you talk about the optimism of this whole camp. I think it starts with exactly that. When you look at Chris Sale pitch, you're like, okay. That's a really, really good pitcher. And he can say anything he wants. And like we've sort of become numb to like that he understands the accountability part of it and what to say in the sound bites. And it's great. It's great for business. Believe me, it's great for business. But at the end of the day, it's going to be, is this guy good in the field? And the guy that we have seen so far has absolutely been the Chris Sale that you signed up for a couple of years ago. So I think that if you're looking at the optimism, because you need a guy. I mean, yes, he's not going to pitch opening day. That's fine. That's okay. But you still need that perception of an opening day pitcher, the perception of a number one starter. And the guy that he's shown so far is exactly that.
So that's okay with you, though, Bradford?
With what? Not starting opening day?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like this opening day is like just.
Did it surprise you? It surprised us. Like that is not just a small thing.
Right. You told me that this is the most important guy on your baseball team, and he's not even your opening day starter.
Yeah, you know what? I want to see, is he going to start in game one of a playoff game?
Okay, that's great. But why can't he start opening day? He's making $35 million a year. Why does he have to have fun?
You're going to go. So Curtis, you're going to define. And by the way, excellent weather reports. I've been listening all morning.
And I love you, Rob. You know that.
Yeah, but you're going to define a guy about like whether he's worth but he's not worth whatever he's getting. I mean, we already know that. But we're going to define a guy, his place on the team, whether he starts opening day or not?
No, it's a soft thing to do to have your manager coddle him and say, we want him to enjoy the pomp and circumstance of the opener. We don't want to put pressure on him. Guess what? There's pressure on you, Chris Sale. Pitch opening day. Go out there. Let's see you throw 6 innings and don't take a bike home. How does that sound?
You know what? If he sucks in game 2, then that's more of an issue than him soaking in opening day.
What message are you sending as a manager that you're trying to prevent your most important player from having any pressure on him to begin the season? It just
you don't think that there's going to be pressure on him whether he starts opening day or not?
Then you're making my point.
Right. So again, I'll say it again for you, Chris. Opening day is eyewash. It means nothing.
Right.
It means nothing.
Alex Cora is making it a story by not pitching his best pitcher on opening day.
How do you know? First of all, he's your highest paid pitcher, but this is a problem with his team. You can't, even going into this, we had no idea who was going to pitch opening day. We had hey, that's the guy that has to pitch opening day, because Chris Sale right now, even though he's done it in the past, it hasn't shown that he is the best pitcher on the staff. So it's not like you have your best pitcher on the staff not pitching opening. We don't even know if he's that guy.
But you would hope it would be the guy you're paying $25 million to, or whatever the number is.
You would also hope that the guy that you're paying $30 million to would have pitched more than 9 games in the last 2 years, or whatever it is.
Right, so get him out there before he's hurt again, walking around the house. Why delay it?
So this is what it comes down to. You're worried about that one day where he might trip over something, and now he's not going to even get to game 2.
There was a date in history in Boston where if a manager had done this with Pedro or Schilling, they would have been mocked and ridiculed. And yet somehow okay.
That is one of the stupidest things you've ever said, because if you go back, if you go back to the plenty of years where they did this sort of symbolic opening day starter, where the best starter didn't even pitch opening day, and look at it that way. All right, this is symbolism. They want Corey Kluber, who's already pitched 5 opening days, to pitch opening days, so we've gone through plenty of years where they haven't pitched the guy that they feel is the best pitcher on opening day. That's history. That's facts. That's science.
But Rob, he's a professional athlete, and he's talking to you and saying, I really appreciate Cora letting me have that day. That's concerning.
Okay. I mean, why?
Because it shows that his lack of want of purpose. If this was any other professional athlete.
In the same conversation, Courtney, he also talked about how much he would love to pitch opening day. What's he going to say? Oh, you know what? I'm really pissed off at Alex isn't letting me pitch. Okay. Well, he's saying that he, in the same conversation, he says that how great it would be to pitch opening day. He understands it, so forth and so on. It's just we're tying ourselves in the knots. Like I said, there have been plenty of opening days where you have this symbolism, and maybe you can file this under symbolism of a guy not pitching opening day when he probably should be.
Well, it's a long season, and Bradford is saying that Chris Sale is a grower, not a shower. So,
Bradford,
and I'm going through the Red Sox history of opening day starters. Pedro, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004. David Wells, Schilling twice. Beckett, Lester, Buchholz, David Price, Chris Sale twice. Almost every year, it is the best pitcher on the staff that got to start opening day over the last 20-plus years in Boston.
Chris Sale's first year with the Red Sox, did he start opening day?
I think didn't David Price start that?
No, David Price pitched opening day. Who was perceived as the better pitcher?
I don't know. They were each making an ungodly amount of
you're
money.
wrong. You're wrong. So I mean, it's like Chris Sale was perceived as the better pitcher.
Oh, okay.
That's why they
Corey
went out and cut
Kluber and Chris
Sale.
Sale is much like David Price and Chris Sale in 2016. Not even
You know
close.
what? It is. I mean, they're not in terms of like finances, but in terms of how the guy is perceived as a pitcher right now, because we don't have no idea what Chris Sale is right now.
Bradford, and I actually will back you up on this. I like it because what it tells me is that Alex Cora looks at Chris Sale as not his best pitcher. And I thought when I asked you the question going into this, for me, if Chris Sale has a good year, that's like icing on the cake. My expectations for him are extremely low just based on his past performance. So if he's telling us that he is not the opening day starter because he's not the best pitcher, then I actually
Well,
think...
that's not what he's saying, though. He's saying he doesn't want to put pressure on him, which I think
Well, is that a nice way of him telling...
Wiggy, to your point, we don't know if he's the best pitcher. We have no idea, and that's part of this equation. Yeah, he's the highest paid pitcher,
Right.
And we've already gone through this. Is he worth the contract? No, of course he isn't. But we don't know what he is. We don't know if he's the best pitcher. Brian Bayo might be the best pitcher. Who knows? Like this is the problem with his team going in. Yeah, we can look at Chris Sale's first couple spring training outings and be optimistic, but at the same time, you have a bunch of starters where you don't know. I mean, this is the biggest, most uncertainty we have had with the starting rotation since 2015. The five aces. So yeah, so to your point, Wiggy, like I don't, we can't say that Chris Sale is the best pitcher. He's the highest paid pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Greg, you get paid the most, but we don't want to put any pressure on you, so don't worry about anything.
Well, I don't think you know that for a fact. I might be Curtis that makes the most money on the show.
That's correct.
It's crazy to me. You get paid the most money. You should have the most pressure on you.
I think that's true. Yeah. Well, maybe Chris Sale wants the 4-day work week.
I mean, Pablo Sandoval was paid a lot. Do you slap him in the middle of the order?
All right, Bradfo. Well,
That was
listen,
fun.
it is always great to have you on, and we will check in again next week as we inch closer to the home opener at Fenway Park in March.
Yep.
This
Hopefully the
particular
weather's
season,
nice.
so, I know. All right,
Okay.
Rob, thank you.
All right, thanks, guys. I'll see you.